Priyanka, welcome to Her Voice. It's an honor to have you. You're an accomplished author, an award winning entrepreneur, and an impactful mother. I really want to know, how do you do it all? Are there any secret productivity hacks of having it all?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here, Hina. I can't think of a more authentic person to share this experience with. I don't believe in multitasking. I think it is the most oversold concept to women is to multitask. I think for me it's really important to show up to anything with a lot of intention, to actually just be completely 100% there and only thinking about what you're doing. I do manage a lot of things, and I think the only way I find joy in managing all of it is by bringing that intentionality into it. I know you asked me to share something that people can use the very next day. So I would share three things. Number one is at the beginning of every year, I set a goal. And I am very, very clear about what I have to achieve in that year. And that allows me to have a lot of clarity of thought throughout my year and not get distracted. So if any new opportunity comes, I know that I have to say, hey, I'll do it the year after. Or I know that I have to do it in addition to my goals because my goals are non negotiable. The second thing that I do is every single day without fail, I make a to do list that allows me to put planning into my life. So I know exactly what I'm going to do at 8 a.m., what I'm going to do at 8:35 a.m., what I'm going to do at 9 a.m. It's very, very clear to me. And the third is I allow the universe to play its role, which is I allow myself to prioritize and reprioritize every day because something new happens every day. My child might fall sick, somebody might not be able to come into work, my flight may not take off on time. So you have to keep resetting your priorities. You have to keep accommodating for change. So I think by setting my goals at the beginning of the year, very intentionally planning my day, and then allowing change to happen and reprioritize is really how I get everything done. And I know it's not like something really out there, very different. It's very simple, but I feel the simplicity works. This is how we studied in school. We have to do math, history, English, geography. We write it down when we will study what, how we will get it done, and it worked then and it works now. And I think I'd like to add one point of how I do all of it intentionally. So I hate rework. I hate having to work on something again and again. So I feel that if you're very clear कि आप ये चीज़ क्यों कर रहे हो, why are you doing it, and then you start the work, then your half 50% of your time goes in planning that work. You're like, what is the outcome that I want from this, and hence why am I doing this, and you put that into your work process. So the output is automatically very well thought out. And I've also taught my team this. So we have a policy of zero rework. So I expect that my team also works with that same intentionality as I do. And I think really that's where the magic happens. If everybody is working at the highest level of thinking, then everybody's enjoying what they're doing.
So well
And
said. I love it the way you've simplified it all. I honestly feel like a student in front of you. And
not
this
at all.
is, and the best part is about to never stop learning. And that is you.
I completely agree. I think I was raised by a continuous learner, and I think that's the one value that my parents have really passed on to us is that you have to learn every single day. Like, if you haven't gone back to school for a few years, my mom will call us, what are you planning to study next? So I think that's really built into how we were raised.
Also, I'm amazed by the fact that you've written two Amazon bestsellers and you are the founder of a children's publishing house. Now, was there a specific eureka moment where you decided that now I'm going to change the world by writing one book at a time?
So, I get this question so often, and I usually just answer it in one line and sort of in a way to just answer it for the sake of answering it. But I think today we're sitting here together in this way. So, I'm going to give you a slightly longer answer to this.
I would love it.
So I think when you do anything, there's a moment in which you do it. But there are a lot of forces at work that make you arrive at that one moment where you decide to take action and get something into being. So I think Sam and me and starting a publishing house was a result of, a lot of those forces that came into being. So I think number one, I come from a tech background. So I think I could very much see what the skills of the future would be, something that I think about all the time. And when I'm hiring young talent, I would see, where are the gaps in what they need to do with us, what they need to do for the future. The second thing was becoming a mother. I was suddenly thinking about what is the world that I'm raising my kids for? Like, what
That's
should I
so
teach them?
true.
What should I prioritize for them? And I was always afraid that I shouldn't miss something, like that whether it was the developmental goals, whether it was what kind of upbringing I should give them, what kind of exposure I should give them. So there was a lot of research that went into understanding that how do you raise a young child. And the third was I love reading. Like, if you spend a week with me, you'll know 60% of my conversations are about what I have read. And I think that's so intrinsically important to me. And I was surrounded by kids who would keep saying, I hate reading. I don't want to spend time doing this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to write. And I think for me, that was something that I wanted to change. I wanted children to fall in love with reading. And when I looked at the data, I saw that India was not reading to its children under 8. Reading happened in a very academic way once the school started reading with the children. And that for me, was a big surprise. I didn't know that was something that was what was happening with the majority of kids. So Sam and me sort of became that amalgamation of those thought processes where, what are the skills of the future? What are the things we must teach children age between 0 to 8, and how to intrinsically create a strongly bonded family that makes your child fall in love with reading and writing. And I think that's where Sammy was born. We have these three pillars:
Please tell
empathy,
me about it.
problem solving, and communication. And everything, like, I think you give me any skill in the future, I can plug it in these three. You tell me anything that a child has to learn developmentally, I can put it in these three buckets for you.
Beautiful.
So it became, I think we're the only research-based children's book publisher in the country. And we take a lot of pride in that, that we infuse a lot of joy, research into our books and still make them really fun living pieces for our kids.
I can
Yeah.
completely agree. My son loves your books. And I believe that it's really important to raise a generation which is compassionate, kind, and empathetic to others. That's the need
100%.
of the hour.
I completely agree with you. And I think that the Amazon bestseller that you talk
Yes,
about is
yes.
actually a book on empathy.
Okay.
So I think that's how the world is also thinking about it, that
Yes,
this is a really
yes.
important skill that we
Yes,
must
yes.
teach children.
Now, I'm really curious to know, we are living in the world of AI storm. Our lives are changing in the blink of an eye. Do you think it's time that our parenting styles or parenting goals also need to change? And most importantly, I want to know, can we raise a generation that is smarter than artificial intelligence? What do you think?
I love that question. I think it's one of my favorite questions to ask people at dinner time. So I feel like if I answer this question, people will know my answer before they answer it. But I think it'd be lovely that when this actually goes live, to have the audience answer this question also, because I think people have so many different perspectives on what they think of the future would look like. It's always interesting to hear how they think children would, what they need to have as parenting goals or parenting styles. Um, I think for me, I'm very clear that tech is limitless. Everything we read about in sci-fi, the sci-fi movies we saw, we're living it. It's happening before us. The world of Isaac Asimov is actually alive in front of us right now. There are books like The Physics of the Impossible, which sort of show you that how much progress physics has made to achieve things like the invisible cloak. Something which was such a fantasy is actually we're so close to actually figuring out how it would be done. So I think tech and science is limitless. We will, it's exponential and it's limitless. So when people say that, oh, but tech won't be able to do this or tech won't be able to do that, like, I don't believe any of it, right? I can prove that anything that you tell me that tech can't do, I can prove it to you that tech can do. What I would then say is that what does that mean for us as human beings? So I think there's a world that we're seeing today and a world that we expect to see in the future. So if you see the world today, like I have, people from late 20s to late 30s in my team, and they were not privy to AI. They did not grow up with AI. And yet in the last year, everything that they're doing, instead of doing it on Google, they're doing it on some sort of generative AI engine, whether that is ChatGPT or your Gemini. And you can see that their behavior is changing automatically. And you see the result of that. You see that people are becoming less sure of themselves.
Right.
They think, oh, this is so eloquently said by ChatGPT, this must be right.
Right.
So even to put your own cognitive thought into it and understand that, am I right, or is this right? There's a lot of loneliness. You're seeing this among children already. There's a lot of isolation. There's a lot of lack of tolerance. People are like, you look different than me. You are different than me. I don't get it. You can't say that to me. There's a high level of sensitivity that has got built around it. Now I take this into like 30 years in the future when our kids are like,
I know, in their
35,
prime,
25.
yes.
Exactly. And the world is going to probably get more isolated. You're going to have less work you're doing operationally. You're going to have a less mental load. And then losing a sense of self will become even a bigger deal, because you're like, what do I do with my time? Or thinking about things which are not important and giving it too much importance. So I think the skill of the future that you need, or the world that you need to raise your kids for, or the single parenting goal that is really important to me, is building relationships.
I completely agree.
So I think that is what is going to give you a sense of community, connections, ideation, and there are like 3 really quick ways to do it. Would you like me to share it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think reading everything, and especially fiction, because I think thinking about a person who doesn't exist,
Okay.
in a place that doesn't exist, doing things that you can't imagine people would do, I think that in itself teaches you so much about the human mind and the human potential, and makes you very comfortable with the unknown. The second would be listening. I think we're so used to listening to our own voice now, telling people I came first, or I had an idea, or I did it, or I said it first. I think we stopped listening. I think switching back to just listening mode. I think this is something you do so well, Hina. Like, I feel like you'll remember a conversation from 2 years ago. You'll remember its impact. You'll remember its importance. And I think that cognitive ability to just listen is so important. I think if you can teach a child to listen, they've already figured out how to build an understanding of the world around them. And I think the third is culture and arts. So, like just making sure you've exposed your children to the world of dance, music, theater, museums, which are places where they have to absorb new ideas in a very patient way. They have to see a story unfold in a very patient way, in a different form than they're used to. We're used to using words to express, right? Here they're using some other form of expression, which allows them to slow down and actually observe and listen in a very different way. And I think if you just make sure that you're doing these 3 things with your children and even with yourself, I think the world is changing for us too, right? That parenting goal also applies to us. I think you can actually raise kids who know how to have very strong relationships, a good understanding of the world around them, and a inbuilt tolerance that my world is not your world, and it is okay. We're different from each other, and it's okay. Like, I think you and me, we're so similar in so many ways, but our lives are so different, our perspectives are so different, we live such different realities, right? So I can't expect that what I will think about something is what you will think about it. We have to be okay with thinking differently and coexisting and admiring each other.
That's a beautiful perspective, and I love the 3 pointers. I think that I can start doing that with my kid from day one, from today itself.
I think
It's a
that's
wonderful
what it is.
takeaway.
Yeah.
Yes. I also know a fact about you, that you are a strong propagator of feminism. I want to know, how do you inculcate that and integrate that in your management style? Being a boss lady yourself, do you feel emotional intelligence is important at the point of leadership?
100%. I think emotional intelligence is important regardless of leadership or no leadership. So I think it goes back to what feminism is to me. So I think feminism to me is that you have a lot of voices, and I want to make sure that my voice is also heard. And my voice is a woman's voice. And I want to make sure that the woman's voice is also heard, and it's in the room, and it's acknowledged, and it's researched upon. I think before I tell you that, what my thoughts on management are, I'll give you 2 examples. um, when I delivered my second child, I had a lot of health problems, and I kept going to different doctors, from orthopedics to gynecologists, and I was like, my knees are hurting, my back is hurting, and my shoulders are hurting, and they kept telling me, you must lose weight, it'll go away, it's all in your mind, it's a new experience, you're learning how to cope. And I genuinely thought they were right. I mean, they went to school to study this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And once I remember I was traveling and I was in unbearable pain, and I reached physio. And he just looked at me and he said, oh my God, your kidneys must not be working because you have so
Oh.
much water retention. In the next 20 minutes, I had a diagnosis which basically relieved me of my pain 99%. And
Terrific.
I had spent almost 6 months not being heard. And I'm a very strong woman. Imagine a strong woman like me who has ample resources, who's so empowered, was just not heard and living in pain for 6 months. And I mean, now you amplify that, you understand how much of, I mean, you're a doctor, right? And all the people I went to, I don't want to say this for all men, but I realized how much of a woman's body post delivery is not
Yes.
researched,
Yes.
right? Like what can happen in that human body is unknown to a large extent. Um, Another example I'll give you from management world, that I went to Cambridge to do my MBA, and we had to write an SOP, a statement of purpose. And I wrote that, my internships were all with very strong women, and my jobs were all with very strong men. So I didn't know what my leadership style is. And I think somewhere in that journey, I realized that I want to lead in a way where it's okay if you cry in the boardroom.
That's lovely.
Yeah, like I'm an extremely sensitive person. You're mean to me, I will cry. But why should I be ashamed of
But let me
crying
tell you
if
that
you're mean
nobody
to me?
will take you very seriously in that leadership role.
But why not? I feel like that's the junk that's fed to us, that if you cry, you're weak. I'm able to cry openly because I'm strong. I'm able to say, hey, what you said was not nice. I don't want to live with that. And I'm
Often we are asked to brush our emotions under the carpet. Never show it. Be very stern, be very practical.
now, is that what you would want to raise your kids as?
Not
That
at
you are
all. I think
exactly,
it's
so
really
why?
important to be authentic.
So then, exactly, if you would not raise your child that way, then why should we raise ourselves that way? So I think for me, a lot of the management principles that we were taught, that we read about, they're so strong. If this person's not doing this, fire them. And then this doesn't happen, don't do this. But I genuinely feel, if I know your story, even if you're not performing well, that doesn't mean that I need to keep you on my team. But I understand what might be coming in your way, right? And in a very authentic way, I can tell you, hey, we might not be the right fit for each other. So something as big as letting talent go, which I think is one of the hardest things for me to do, I feel with empathy becomes easier, because both sides understand that, I need to achieve some goals to make sure my rest of my team floats. And you need to achieve some goals because you have to make sure you get what you want out of life. So I feel just being women and being empathetic and being able to understand each other helps you transition through life much easier. If I did a man's way and I said, you're fired and, don't talk to me again, I feel it leaves me with a very horrible feeling at the end, which I don't want to do it that way. So I feel that we need to have more management books by women, more women talking about how they lead, more women talking about how they made their sensitivity their greatest strength instead of making it their weakness. And I think that again goes back to research on women, right? Like, what is a woman's, and it's such a new thing, right? We have women on board only in the last decade or so,
Yes.
right? So it's such a new thing. So I don't think there's enough knowledge put out there only on how women lead.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's the way to be. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be authentic. That's the
Yeah.
least we owe ourselves to.
Absolutely. And then imagine you want to live your full life. You're talking about equality. I want the equality of being as free as
Yes,
a
and
man
being
might feel
myself.
in that
Yes,
situation, right?
yes,
I don't want equality only in the sense of what you wear and what I wear. I want that if you've showed up as your 100% self, I can also show up as my 100%
And
self.
equality to not being questioned to my choices.
100%, so beautifully put. Yes, yeah, to keep explaining why I did it that way and why it was okay and why you should trust me and why I'm doing it right. I'm like, I think, I think when I was in my 20s also, I would say this, and I'll still say this now, I'm too old for that. I don't want to explain myself.
Right.
So I completely agree with you. I think I get very rattled when I have to explain my choices. I'm like, but why? Like, because I'm the only
But we
woman in the
often
room.
find ourselves just doing that.
Yes. But I have to say that the maximum doors that were opened for me in India, like whether it was as mentors, it was people who gave me new opportunities, were men. And I think the first of
Right.
them would be my dad. So I think
Who believed in you and raised you
my
the way
dad's
you
the
are.
ultimate feminist. He was very clear. You have to know how to run a house like you run a business. You have to know how to do all of it like a man because I'm raising you to walk next to a man. So I'm not telling you that become a man. So you have to do all of it. You have to learn how to do all of it, but you have to be able to walk next to a man equally. And I think when you're raised like that, anyways, when something wrong is being done to you, you see it very clearly and you
Yes.
question it, or even if you don't question it, you're aware of it, you're aware that you must change it. So I think as mothers to girls, it's
Right.
really important
Right.
that we keep reinforcing that for our kids too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sensitivity is our superpower.
Yes.
Emotions are our USP.
A hundred
Thank you,
percent.
Priyanka. You are an absolute firecracker of energy to have.
Thank you.
And I couldn't have thought of someone else to talk about feminism, parenting, and doing it all other than you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hina, for having me. And I think you're one of the most intelligent women that I have met and who's so authentic and so beautiful in who she is. I'm really, really happy to be doing this with you.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
honored.